Have you ever noticed that the same situation keeps showing up in your life, maybe as something you do not prefer, a conflict that keeps repeating, a door that keeps closing, a feeling of being overlooked no matter how much you give? But it can also show up as something that seems positive, like an opportunity to do something you were waiting for, but you keep sabotaging it, or a relationship that starts great, and then you find yourself reacting the same way, pulling away, overthinking, creating tension until it ends exactly like the others. The situation changes, the people change, but the feeling is always the same. That is the autoplay. Let's see why it keeps running and how we can begin to interrupt. The matrix, the screen, is neutral. It does not decide what shows up. It simply reflects the frequency you are operating from. We talked about it in my previous videos, right? And when a pattern keeps repeating, it's not because life is against you. It's not because you are unlucky. It is happening because the same program is still running somewhere inside. A story you learned at some point in your life, a feeling that became so familiar, it started to feel normal. It could be the pattern of always giving more than you receive, always feeling like you are not a priority to anyone, always feeling like what you have is never enough, feeling like ending up around people who try to control you through fear of losing your job, your home, your relationships, your reputation. It happened to me for a long time. And every time I stood up for myself, it looked like I was losing everything. But I was not losing. People will look at how I overcame the situation, and they will say, "Oh, you passed the test." But it was not about passing or failing anything. The situation kept showing up because there was something I needed to understand at a deeper level. The moment I truly incorporated that understanding, my frequency rose and the pattern dissolved. I was already in a different frequency, therefore, a different reality. Because here's what I know from my experiences: the pattern keeps repeating until you master it, until the frequency inside you shifts so completely that what used to knock you down simply cannot reach you anymore. In one of the hardest moments of my life, I asked why I had to go through everything I was experiencing. And Mary Magdalene responded with something that became a center, something I come back to every time a thought tries to pull me down. She said to me, "You will get punched until you keep your balance so steady that your body will not move. That is not a struggle. That is mastery." But here is what most people don't realize: you cannot break the loop by changing your actions alone. You can leave the job and the relationship, move to a new house, a city, whatever, and the same pattern will follow you there, because the loop is not in the circumstances, in the environment. It is in the frequency. As long as you react from the same emotional state, as long as the same story is running underneath, the matrix will keep serving you the same scene with different actors. The moment you stop reacting automatically, the moment you pause and choose differently from the inside, the loop begins to dissolve. The shift did not start out there, it started in you. So here is something I invite you to try. Find a quiet moment, just a few minutes, and ask yourself, what situation keeps repeating in my life? What is the feeling underneath? Not the story around, but the feeling. Is it the feeling of not being enough, of not being safe, of not being seen? Just observe without judgment, without trying to fix it. Because awareness is the first shift. The moment you see the pattern clearly, you are no longer inside it. You are watching it. And from that place, you have a choice. Now, take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, let that feeling soften. Not forcing it, just awareness. And then ask yourself, who would I be if this pattern was already resolved? How would I feel? How would I carry myself? How would I respond to what shows up today? Do not wait for the outside to change first. Step into that frequency now, even for just one moment, because that moment is where everything begins to shift. The matrix responds to your state, not to what you say you want, but to who you are actually being. And the more you practice choosing that state consciously, the more the screen begins to reflect something new. This is the practice. Not forcing, not fighting, not waiting. Simply become so grounded in your own frequency, so clear in who you are, that the old patterns no longer find a match in you. In Qua, we do not go inward or deeper. We expand, we rise, because your soul is not inside your body. Your body is inside your soul. And when you remember that, everything opens. And in the next video, I'm going to guide you through a meditation, a real practice to help you begin shifting into the frequency of the reality you prefer to experience, instead of automatically repeating the old one. And if you want to experience this expansion through a guided quantum alchemy hypnotherapy session, the link is in my bio. This is exactly what we do together. See you in the next frequency.